But I think that basically, if you have a clear job description, clear KPIs, and clear SOPs, those are
Welcome, everyone, to this episode of Cyber Confidential. We're doing a special mini-series. This is part 2 of Buying Back Your Time. We're talking about the drip matrix, delegating tasks, hiring new team members, taking advantage of global talent, all with our special guest, Randy Rosales from Freelance Latin America. Randy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me again. Excited to listen to your feedback and how's been this month.
Yes, so part 1, for the thousands of people that watched the first episode, maybe one day that will be true. Part 1 was Randy and I had a half-hour episode like 5 weeks ago, something like that. I had just finished reading Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time, hashtag Canadian Intelligence. And I knew that I had a lot of opportunity in my calendar to train a new team member and delegate. And Randy's got the book behind his shoulder. I got the book behind my shoulder too. We're twins. So I went through Randy's program. I went through the hiring process. I now happily have a new team member, and we are just past 4 weeks. We're recording this halfway through week 4. So we're going to talk about that experience of getting the new person's lessons learned, good things, bad things, all in an effort so that the audience can learn from our experience and follow the best practices again. That's kind of the meta way of Randy's whole thing of experimenting, finding the best practices, solidifying them as SOPs, and then sharing them with other people, which is like the whole freelance idea.
Awesome. Yeah, let's jump into it.
All right. So rolling back the clock 6 weeks ago, mid-March, we started this process. Randy, we got signed up with Randy. I got my account representative from Freelance. The first thing that we did was go through a description of the role that I wanted to fill, which was like we described it as the typical virtual assistant, executive assistant role. I think it had blended a little bit into like my, business development assistant, because as Iceberg Cyber startup founder, some of my work is replying to emails. Some of the work is working through our leads funnel, which has been the last couple of weeks training on the leads funnel, setting up meetings, cleaning. HubSpot is a CRM we use. Those are the tasks that we've at least tackled so far together. So this is sort of the quintessential executive assistant, virtual assistant role. Would you say that's the truth from your other clients, Randy?
Every client and every company is different. Every company is on a different stage. Every founder has a different personality and a different need on the time they want to buy back. And yeah, every experience is unique. But I think that basically, if you have a clear job description, clear KPIs, and clear SOPs, those are the essentials to set this up for success for whatever position you're hiring. It could be a VA, EA, technical support, marketing, sales, leadership, whatever position you're hiring locally or remotely, you need to have those 3 elements for success.
And I know that people sometimes speak vaguely about what their VAs do, but I'm going to say exactly later in the show. I'm going to say exactly what my new team member is doing so that everyone can know how, like, specifically the time that I am buying back so that everyone can learn from the specifics. Okay, so the hiring process. My account representative, we went back and forth. They asked, I felt like I was sort of like, give me the standard package. Give me the standard executive assistant VA package, which they gave me the thumbs up for. We got a list of candidates. That was the best part about getting the initial candidates was the pre-screening video, honestly. I went into this process self-aware that I'm probably terrible at hiring people. I'm being self-aware. I haven't done it a lot, so I got like very low reps in this. I don't know if I've done it successfully. I may have hired, like in my entire adult life, maybe I hired 10 people, 12 people. So it's not a lot of reps. And even doing those, the number of candidates that I interviewed wasn't that many. So we probably looked at more candidates than twice what I usually have done. So I relied a lot on the freelance team. And fortunately, they do this like 1,000 times over. So they have the reps. And I had told them that, like, don't ask me for my input. Just tell me what the best practice here and do it. And that's what we did. So we got a list of candidates. The freelance team had standard questions that they asked each one from their repository of standard questions for this role. They did a pre-screening interview, recorded, and then I watched the recording. That was the best because asynchronously I can do the screening, which I like because then I can do it, like when I have time in the evening. So I asynchronously screened the first round of candidates. I created a short list of 5 or 6 that I wanted to interview. The freelance team booked the interviews. Bang, bang, bang. We did the interviews. And then we had our final meeting and we chose one of the people. With some like scheduling issues with me because I was traveling a lot of the time. Otherwise, smooth process, especially the asynchronous ability to watch the videos.
Yeah, and we don't want to share the entire interview because the pre-interview is longer than what we share to clients. We only share one fraction of the interview, which is why do you think you're the right fit for this position? And that's what you get. And you get to experience their communication skills and why they think they're the best for your role. And I'm happy that you're referring this as the Freelance Latin America team effort because they're doing all the heavy lifting. Like you didn't see me during the interview process. You didn't see me during the hiring process, the training process. And I remember in the last episode, you were mentioning, I'm Randy's guinea pig. I'm doing Randy's program. But actually, I'm not doing any of the work here. My team gets all the credit because they're doing all the heavy lifting here. And something that I remember them saying is like, we have this process and we need to trust and be proud of our process. And that's why we share candidates on a set of 3, like 3 candidates at a time, because we think these are the best fits. But now Michael is asking us to share 30, to share 20 candidates for him to pick the best fits and then schedule back-to-back interviews all with the best of them at the same time. And like the feedback that I was getting from my team on the group meetings and the leadership team meetings was, I think Michael has fear of missing out. But we're going to please him and we're going to share him as many candidates as we can and the ones that we think are the best fits, and then we're going to go his way. And this is something kind of a learning experience for us as well, that we are here to serve our clients, not to please our clients. Because as you said, we are the experts, right? So not always what our clients want is the best way to go forward. And in your case, everything worked out well, but the way we do it 3 at a time is not to overwhelm our customers, because sometimes, and there are books that have studied this, when you have a lot of choices, it's more complicated and more overwhelming when you just have only 3 choices to choose from. And
hopefully the book you're referring to is Algorithms to Live By, because that's the book that I read that talks exactly about what you're discussing. And in that case, it says when you have a large number of options for a choice, just cover the first 30% and choose one of those, because statistically that's the best result.
There are so many books that cover this, because there is a study that was made on berries and fruits, and people going to the market, and when they have so many choices, it was harder for them to choose than when they only had 3 choices. I read this in Package, Price and Profit from Nigel Moore, the founder of the Tech Tribe, but so many books bring those examples. So yeah, then you selected 5 candidates to interview, and out of those, you hired what you thought was the best fit. So tell me more about that interviewing process, about the questions that went through the interview process, and why you selected Vanessa as your executive assistant.
I had told Alvaro, which is my freelance account rep, that I don't know what questions to ask. So this was part of the big reason why I chose to go with you as opposed to just hiring myself, is because I was self-aware, knowing that I'm bad at this and wanted to rely on freelance, which I did. So I told Alvaro to ask the questions that he knew would at least elicit the response and allow the candidates to present themselves in the way that we needed to see, like just the spray of their skills and personality to make our judgment. So the questions were the usual that you would see in a job interview. In the prep for this, I teased with Randy and said that the questions were boring, but that just may be my personality. And fair warning to everyone listening, I have never had a real job. I have not worked for a real company. Like the last time I worked for someone else was in a co-op program during my engineering degree, and it was a 3-employee business too. So I don't know what the proper process looks like here. I'm a pirate from outside of the system, which is why I relied on Alvaro to just ask the questions. If someone had asked me those questions, I probably would have, gotten bored and then answered with egregiously humorous responses, for better or worse. But that's me. So the questions were they were okay. They allowed the candidate to tell us about their previous experience, which is the key part. And then at the end, I asked some more emotional questions about why they're why they want to work for a remote company, what they thought about our company, what they thought about us. I told them some personal things about me to try and elicit some personal comments about themselves to gauge whether we would have any chemistry. Because if we're going to be team members, we have to have some base of chemistry to work together. So that was kind of the process. Having the recordings afterward was also handy because then I could rewatch them. And then based on Alvaro's advice and other coach, I made the choice on who we had the best chemistry with and met all of the basic requirements and who I felt could learn as we train them. Because this was the basic expectation with all of this. Like our whole theme with this is writing SOPs, which means to achieve success with the new person requires us to write the SOPs and then train them effectively on them. And as long as I thought that they were able to learn and follow the SOP, then it should lead to success.
Yeah. We covered in the last episode that you need to have your SOPs developed before hiring someone, because you don't rise to the level of the occasion, you follow to the level of your systems. And Dan Martel talks a lot about it.
That's
but
right.
He also,
behind my monitor.
Yeah. he also mentions a lot that if you don't have enough time to develop the SOPs and you need to hire to buy back your time, to delegate all these time-consuming tasks, you can also use the cam recording method. Record yourself doing the work, tell your BA or EA, listen to the recording, and then write down the SOP, and then use a prompt to use ChatGPT to make it into checklist. And then you make the written SOP into checklist, and then it's an evolving document. It's never done. It's not set on stone. You need to start, tweaking it, adjusting it, adapting it, and improving it every time that you are actually doing the work. So how has that experience worked for you? I know from the last episode, you told us that the past 6 weeks prior to interviewing, you were developing SOPs.
Mm-hmm.
Were those SOPs that you developed, were they useful? Has Vanessa adapted them? Have you made adjustments to them? How has that worked in real life?
So initially, I was recording myself with Zoom because that was the meeting tool that I was using. So I was making Zoom clips, which is the functional equivalent of like Loom Screen Recorder or Vidyard, which Paul Green just got me on last week. And I would record the process, then just give the video, and then Vanessa would watch the video and type out the SOP by watching the video. Fortunately, at the same time, like last month, Gemini, we're in the Google Workspace. So Gemini added the ability to process videos. So as soon as I saw that, I changed the process. Now I record them in a Google Meet with Gemini recording and automatically writing a transcript, which is way easier. That automatically gets put into my Google Drive, into a folder that Vanessa has access to, shared access. And then in a Google Doc, we open a empty Google Doc. In the Gemini on the right-hand side, we put a prompt, which she has copy and pasted in another Google Doc that's called the SOP for writing SOPs. She pastes in the prompt. You can tag by using the @ symbol in the Gemini thing, tag the transcript in Google Drive, and tag the SOP for writing SOPs Google Doc, and then say, Gemini, make me a new SOP of this video using the SOP of SOPs Google Doc template. Gemini writes it, you press insert, done. That's how you get the Google Doc. And then she watches the video again and she edits where necessary, but Gemini's getting pretty good. And Gemini's probably listening to this too, so thanks, Gemini, for the help. Gemini's getting pretty good at it, and like in the Google Docs is fantastic now, and you have many smart features like putting the checklist or the tables, or we can put little snippets from the video, screenshots go in there as well. That's how we do it, and then her and I meet to review.
Yeah, and like, have you done a calendar audit now that you have been working with her for 1 month already to see how much time have you bought back, and what are you feeling in that time that you delegated with all those tasks that you delegated to her?
So I know that the calendar audit's a Dan thing that is on the to-do list. So every Friday at 4 p.m., we have been doing a calendar audit by just because part of our KPIs for each other was increasing the concierge meetings we were having with clients and increasing first-time appointments with prospects. Those and the SOPs that I had her working on led to that as the success criteria. So that's the audit that we've been doing on Friday is we go through my calendar and say, how many client concierge meetings have we been having? We write down the number. How many new prospect FTAs, first-time appointments, are we having? We write down the number. And then the numbers have been going up each week because she's been doing the legwork.
Okay.
And that has been our version of audit so far. And then we talk about like where to save time. So that feedback loop has already happened because the first 3 weeks here, I'm going to tell, this is the story about what exactly she's doing for all of my clients. You're going to laugh because you have already felt this. So Vanessa's role is client concierge, because I thought that was a cooler title than virtual assistant or executive assistant. And it's effectively an account executive type thing. What I thought I was failing at was not keeping in touch with all of my paying clients. Sometimes I check in with them. The squeakier wheels get more of my time because they email me for help and I help them. But then there are others that go months without talking to me because I don't talk to them and I forget to. So Vanessa's role was we set up a system in HubSpot. I want to talk to each one of these clients every 2 weeks. At least we send them a nudge. And then after 4 weeks, which we just started this week, if I haven't heard from them in 4 weeks, I call them on the phone. So people are getting called this week. That was the system. So she's been going through. I wrote the SOP for this, recorded it. She's been going through. We split up all the clients by 10, one every 10 business days. Everyone gets in their little lane. She goes through every day and she's been emailing them. That's her task. And then we blocked off her calendar. So the first 2 weeks, that worked great. My calendar got loaded with concierge calls. And then we did the
Your
Friday
production
audit.
quadrant, right?
Pardon me?
Which is part of your production quadrant. That's what you want to load your calendar with. Yeah.
Right. So then that Friday, I said, Vanessa, this is working. The client meetings have a huge increase. Excellent. Problem is now we've been spending most of our days on these calls. So we changed the system to now, instead of doing one-on-one calls, small group calls. And we just changed our booking link. And so that was all cool. So now we're doing 4 times a week small group calls, achieving the same impact for the clients, but now easier on our schedule. Because now instead of like 20 individual meetings, which it's not always necessary to have these calls one-on-one, we have 4 small group meetings, same impact. So that was sort of like already the small cycle of doing the SOPs, executing them, measuring her KPI with a number, which was how many calls are we booking, doing the calendar audit and saying the outcome is what we want, but the process needs to be improved because I'm just flooded with bookings now.
Yeah.
And we changed the booking system, reset the process, and now it's like, now we got great. Thursday is our next small group thing because we do them Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we got tons of people going into it. So
awesome.
That's been great.
So you're batching similar activities, and at the same time, you're making most of your time. So that's what Dan teaches as well. So what about your email and your calendar? Is she the CEO of your inbox and the gatekeeper of your calendar?
Not yet. She doesn't touch my inbox or calendar yet. I haven't felt that to be a limitation for me yet. I'm pretty strict with the calendar. Like every single moment of my life is in my calendar, from the time that I wake up to the time that I go to bed, including a reminder at 11 o'clock every night to have my nighty night tea and go to bed, which I have. I'm looking at my calendar right now. It's like I do the exact same thing every single day. Every single day. The only variation is on the weekend because the gym closes 45 minutes earlier. That's the only variation. So that I haven't felt a need to get her involved in that yet. The inbox, I know Dan teach. I'm going to open my inbox now and stare at it as I'm talking to you. I know Dan teaches that someone should be triaging my inbox. I would say in self-assessment, I'm still learning how to triage the inbox. I did Dan's categories in Gmail. I have my Gmail inbox set up so that the top half is just unread and then everything else below. And then I have the labels sections, clients, prospects, bookings, some other stuff that I want to categorize. So as soon as something comes in, I triage. I either delete spam, like I just got another spam email, or I tag it and put it in the thing. And then when I have time, I keep going through it.
Which is the issue, right? When you have time. I remember from last episode that you were saying, I get so many repetitive questions from different clients that they email me directly because they have my email, because it used to be only yourself.
Okay, that part, the repetitive questions we have addressed.
Okay.
It hasn't been through the email, but this has been part of Vanessa's concierge role.
Okay.
When she's come into all the meetings, so people are asking questions. She hears the questions. We got a little Gemini pre-trained gem to go through the transcript. Gemini, huge points for Gemini. And so then I'll just say to Vanessa in our chat, like, Jerry messaged me asking for this, and she'll reply on her own, and then I'll just mark it as read. So instead of me replying, we're triaging like that, because she, in HubSpot and in her own notes and in the Gemini recordings, she knows what Jerry's problems are. So if Jerry says, hey, I'm having problems using the cyber score in a cold email, I spent a lot of time writing knowledge base articles recently. So she knows, okay, go to the knowledge base article, send the cold email knowledge base article to Jerry. So she's now the distribution of whenever someone asks me a question in the client meetings we have, she takes notes. She puts it in my content calendar. Every Saturday, I do the they ask, you answer content calendar. And I answer people's questions to video and write a knowledge base article about it. And then she'll distribute that to the people that she knows needs it or asks for it.
That's awesome.
We're still working on that flow, but I think that's achieving the idea of what you're saying is that's in Dan's, admin, value delivery, marketing, sales, leadership.
Yes.
Admin, I haven't delegated much of that. So I said like my financial stuff to my bookkeeper. Value delivery is what Vanessa's doing. So anytime someone's asking me questions or wants to meet, she talks to them and tries to answer the question based on the knowledge base articles. If she doesn't have the answer, she writes down, someone asked a question on this, we didn't have an answer, so let's do the meeting, and then take note, and then tell Mike what to record the video of, make the knowledge base article, so the next time we don't have to answer it synchronously, we answer it asynchronously.
Yeah, and that way your clients don't have to wait until you end up your daily meetings and have time in the evening to answer your emails, because she can answer on the spot while you are, using your time during meetings or more productive tasks.
Right. That is what we're working towards. I think as at this phase in company transformation, a lot of my clients want to talk to me because they have been trained that it's only been me to talk to. So I think this is just part of our natural growth right now, is the getting over the hump of making everyone feel comfortable. Listen, Mike is here if you really need him, but Vanessa can also answer many of your questions, and we've written down many of the answers. I think some of them have been with us for like a year and a half. So they're used to just emailing me and talking to me, but they're getting used to asking Vanessa questions and getting responses from Vanessa now, which is good.
Yeah, and when people ask me, like, is it you or is your EA? I say it's a team's effort. It's a team's effort. So she can answer on your behalf, using your knowledge base, your blog posts, your videos, like the pre-recorded knowledge that you already have stored, and she can. It's a team's effort. So she's representing your company and your team.
Right. For everyone listening, if you get an email from me, it's from me. It's not from Vanessa. I haven't done that yet where she answers on behalf of me. She has her own email account. She answers. That's fine. I don't think she needs to answer as me yet.
Yet.
Yeah. I mean, even still, like if someone asks me a question, we can like Gmail can auto forward things to her, or I forward it, or we have forwarding rules. She can answer. Like I don't think people are going to be weirded out if someone emails me and Vanessa answers. I just think they'll be weirded out if like they email me and Vanessa answers as me, and then they find out, and then they'll say, "Mike, why did you do that? She's impersonating you." Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, well, Dan does it. Many people do it. Like, and you get this all the time, and it's a team's effort. And there, you can even create an AI agent using your voice, your words, your knowledge base, and they will reply how you will reply. And it's just that someone is doing it for you, and it sounds exactly like if you were doing it.
Yeah,
So
that is tantalizing. I might try that. I think I don't know. The authenticity of if it's coming from me, people know it's me. I think that's important. I don't think anyone would be bothered if Vanessa's email account answered an email that they sent to me. I think that's very appropriate because they know like that's how it works. It's a team effort, like Randy's saying. So I think if someone had an AI voice recording of me replying, that would be weird.
But that's the future, and I think that's coming. Probably the next 100 episodes in 2 years won't be you hosting them; will be your AI avatar hosting
Would
them
you
and
like
asking
that?
questions.
That's a good question to answer because, like, I think that's disingenuous. I wouldn't like that. Whenever I'm talking, like, whenever I talk to someone's customer support widget on their website, and I get an AI, my first question is, "Let me talk to a person," because I don't want to talk to the AI because in my many experiences, like, it's usually hallucinating. Gemini still hallucinates with me all the time, so like, just let me talk to a person. And if
Yeah,
a person's not there, I'll wait. It's fine.
I think that's coming, and I know people is craving for originality and real connection, but I think this is unstoppable. And in a few years, that's AI agentic and generative AI. That's just the future, and I think it happened the same when the internet innovation and the computer revolution is just the way it is. But tell me about your LinkedIn. I know you're very active on LinkedIn and you post very constant on LinkedIn. And I love your LinkedIn posting because it's very natural, it's very organic. It's you going to events, you helping your clients sell, you going to trade shows. So how is Vanessa helping you with your LinkedIn strategy, linking new connections? Like Paul Green says it on his book, 101 MSP Marketing, right? You need to create these connections. You need to add 5 new linking connections every day. You need to DM them. You need to create a posting strategy. You need to, create a Google My Business posting schedule. So it's not a one-off
I gotta do
campaign.
GMB.
Yeah, it's a consistent marketing
My
strategy.
Google My Business is not updated. For anyone looking, it's going to look like a back alley in an industrial complex because it's a very old address that I have not updated with Google. Hopefully Google's not listening.
Then
Right
Vanessa
now,
can do that.
yeah. So far Vanessa hasn't gotten into working my LinkedIn. I have another team member that's doing my content in LinkedIn. That's
Okay.
their whole thing. Like they're going to be chopping up and posting this podcast. Their whole responsibility is my media director,
Got it.
coming a lot from Marcus Sheridan's They Ask You Answer, which is a fantastic book. Footnote, if anyone's listening to this and you need something to read this weekend, Marcus Sheridan's They Ask You Answer, which is this book, is fuzzy. It's an excellent book. Somehow it was free for me on Audible, so try that. Otherwise, pay the $12 or whatever and listen to it. So I have another colleague that's doing my content. They're my content director. They've been working for 6 months on this. We started by going through Dave Gerhardt's founder brand. So the books over my shoulder are the hottest ones because Alex's books are there. They're never outside of arm's reach. So the posts that you see every Saturday, we record new stuff, chop it up, review, schedule. And then the podcasts also get chopped up into little clips. We use a product called Opus Clip, which has been great for us, but new things, even Restream that we're recording this on now, new stuff is having AI clip generation added to it all the time. So everything's doing AI clips now. But that's my go-to for like 3 or 4 posts throughout the week of this more structured content.
Got it.
And then I like to post myself whenever I want to.
Yeah.
I know like there are some rules of thumb saying you should only post once a day on LinkedIn, whatever. Sometimes I just post twice or 3 times because I got something important to say and I post about it.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm traveling.
Yes.
I just calculate. So last week I drove all the way to Milwaukee, which is 10 hours from here. And I worked a trade show for one of my MSP clients. We had a great time. They hauled in leads. We had a great time. They loved, like the audience loved the cyber score on the TV. There's a whole episode to talk about that. But I posted a couple videos from the show, posted videos on the trip from the boat. I think a bunch of people liked the picture from the boat. That was super, super windy.
Yeah.
So I that's a mix of scheduled, structured content, like the clips that are going to come out of this episode, and unstructured, organic content that I post. And then a lot of the podcast stuff goes on the Cyber Confidential page because now I want to post too much, so I'm just spreading it out. The best stuff that I want to post comes from my personal account, and then others come from the Cyber Confidential or the Iceberg Cyber account to spread it out.
Yeah, I've seen that. And now, what about traveling? I know you're on the road a lot of your time.
Mm-hmm.
So, is she helping you with these travel arrangements, hotel accommodations?
So far,
Setting you up
not.
with the okay.
But
But are you planning to do so?
So this is what we talked about in the prep. I want the Randy recipes of SOPs because that's coming up. In the past 6 months, I've been to 20 in-person events in the last 6 months.
Wow.
In ScaleCon, 20 events, 20 in-person events, all across Canada and the United States.
Yeah.
A lot of travel.
Yeah.
A lot of travel. Once every 10 days. But the next 6 months, I want to do that again. So you had mentioned that you're writing SOPs for yourself, for your own team on how to like book your trade shows, book your travel, how to do your lead capture, how to put it in the CRM, how to immerse the CRM, how to do the LinkedIn.
Yes.
If you have that SOP written, I would love to copy pasta that and then send Vanessa to paid training with you so that you teach her instead of me. Because again, this is my self-awareness. I know I'm not good at hiring. This is my first time even trying to do this SOP training with any gusto. So I'm still not good at that. I would rather just pay the professional to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a team's effort. So we have a people's team and the talent acquisition team and the people analytics team who does all this training for our VAs. So we've been training them on AI prompting or imposter syndrome or other soft skill communication skills. But I think we should train them in more tactical stuff on the things that we are doing internally. Just share them out there with the VAs who are working with our clients. And as you were mentioning, like survey all of our clients, identify what common tools they're all using, and train the VAs on how to better use those tools and to serve our clients better. And I think this SOP for event attending will be very useful for them. Have your business cards printed, have flyers with you, add the linking connections from the event list attendee. Once you get a business card from someone that you speak to in a conference, take a picture of that, send to your VA. The VA will do the linking connection, will send the DM message while you're doing your thing, because events can be hectic, right? You're having dinner with people, lunches, we're having conversations, you're interacting with them face to face, you're meeting your clients face to face, sometimes for the first time because you're working remotely with them most of the time. But at the same time, you have your EA doing the back end stuff, like adding the linking connections to them. And people get impressed, like, hey, we spoke yesterday. We've been busy during the presentations, during the lunches, the dinners, this hectic event schedule. How did you find time to add me on LinkedIn, send me a message, send me an email with your brochure, with your company information, in an invitation to book a call on the following weeks? And the only thing that I said is because I didn't do it. I have a team running the day-to-day operation that is a team helping me in this team's effort doing this for me. and they're impressed by that. They don't think they don't get upset that I'm being impersonated. They just think that it's a smart way to buy back your time, and that's actually what Dan does too, right?
Yeah, totally. I don't think there's much impersonation there, especially like the background tasks, like entering things into the CRM, which I
Yeah,
know for myself, it's time consuming, but I'm doing okay at it. But it is time consuming after
yeah.
all of these events, because when I'm there, my process, if anyone see me wandering around talking to my phone, my process is like I'll talk with someone and I'll say bye, and they'll and then I'll turn around and I'll do a voice memo to myself. And then when I get home, I gotta go through all of this, and then I
Exactly.
put my notes into HubSpot, and then I add some people to my LinkedIn workflow. So it's a
Yeah,
process, but
I think
definitely
Vanessa,
like
yeah, she's ready to do that for you. Absolutely. Like instead of sending notes to yourself, send it to her, and she will
mhm.
do that for you.
Yeah. So that would be huge if this was one of Randy's recipes. Trademark. I made the trademark in the prep call for this. If this ends up being one of Randy's recipes, absolutely, like you know better. Like you're serving 100 clients, you know better than me. So build the SOPs. Tell me what good looks like, and then I'll send my team member. I'll pay for the training. Absolutely, like I'm paying for the training already. I'm just doing a 20% good job because it's my first time going through it. You train them 80% of the way. I tweak the last 20 that's needed, but it's way faster, better skill set. Everyone wins.
Yeah, I agree with that and taking note of that. And that's the awesome part about talking directly to your clients, right? That you get honest feedback, understand their problems, understand their needs, and create solutions tailored to that. So that's what I'm loving this interaction.
Excellent. All right. So when's the next episode that you want to record? We're 4 weeks in. You want to do 90 days? What should my life be after 90 days? That's the better thing. Like, tell me where we should be. You set the KPI, and then we'll meet then to record the episode to see if we got there.
Awesome. I like quarterly meetings. So you have enough time to see how much time you have bought back and what your clients are saying, like what kind of mic now they are seeing after you have this EA helping you out.
Yeah. Okay. So even if we set it, even if I chose some KPIs now, the SOP, the more like executive assistant style SOPs that you had mentioned, like inbox triage and calendar triage and the booking of the events, like my whole trade show thing, I want to go to 20 events in the next 6 months. I want to. It takes time to find them, takes time to qualify them. I've been doing a lot of events for clients,
Yes.
and that takes a lot of time too. That SOP, if we are cruising on that in 3 months, I'm going to be very happy. And that might
Awesome.
be a mix of learning the Randy's recipe on this and then tweaking it myself and then training. If we did the more tactical training, like group training on how to use HubSpot, I'm sure tons of people are using HubSpot, or Go High Level is another great one. I would do that too. Like tactical training on Go High Level, or even the safe way to delegate access to LinkedIn, or to use the LinkedIn automation tools that some people use.
Yeah.
Those are important tactical training things.
Yeah.
Even you know what would be a great one is you do a group training on Google Workspace, SOP, Gemini, Google Meet combo, because it's new. Like Gemini is
Yeah.
pretty new. Gemini having access to Google Workspace is like 4 weeks old. Like the feature just was released in beta when I started using it. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
So even just doing a group training on that would be huge. Maybe you got to do it with Outlook, because probably a lot of your clients are in Microsoft. But for you and I in Google Workspace, like
Yeah.
Vanessa can show how she's doing it in Gemini. She's cruising on it. She's got a bunch of gems trained, which is handy. That's like the Gemini version of GPT. Pre-trained, she just pastes in transcript, writes the HubSpot updates, writes the personalized follow-up email. Super easy. So just
Awesome.
sharing that with everyone would be great. And then that way you get 20 brains giving feedback on the same thing, and Vanessa comes back with 20 times the brain power than just her and I doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Taking note of that because it's not Randy's recipe, it's not Randy's SOP, it's the team. Like I'm not doing any of this. I'm not creating the SOPs. I'm not doing the training. I'm not doing the webinar. I'm not doing the education moment to our VA community. It's all the team's credit. I'm not taking any credit of this. So no taking. I'm going to share
Randy's
that with
recipe sounds fun though. Take the win. It's okay. Sweet. Okay, cool. So that's everyone watching. This has been episode 2 of Buying Back Your Time. Randy Rosales, founder of Freelance Latin America. I'm the test guinea pig. Randy hooked me up 6 weeks ago. We did the first episode in this mini series on how to tactically buy back your time. And then we went through the candidate interview process. I hired one of Randy's freelancers. They work with me now. We're 4 weeks in. This has been the 1 month mark. We're going to do another episode 2 months from now. End of the first 90 days. How much time have I actually bought back? That's our KPI. So stay tuned. 2 months from now, set your dials to Cyber Confidential because Randy and I are going to be back showing you how we actually bought back our time.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Right on. See you next time.
See you.
Enjoyed this episode? Hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe.